Oh. Hello. I see you've come back for more. But in case you clicked on this by accident, let me give you a little taste of what you're in for. I'm not sure it sounds better, but it definitely makes more noise. And that's about it. Terrific, right? But I can't promise that version 2 is louder or sounds better, but I can promise that it has more notes. So that's the win for everyone who doesn't have to listen. So let's get on with the fast-forwarded build footage. We start with the same bamboo kitchen drawer organizers that I used on version 1 and proceeded to cut out a hole for the wheel, aided by this template I made. Last time I used a hacksaw once I got the initial groove partially cut, but that process was messy enough I decided to try and just stick with the box cutter. Which I wouldn't recommend if you have other, better options. It's clearly possible, but it does take a lot longer than you think it will. Power tools were invented for a reason. One of the major changes I made in this version is the position of the strings. There's 2 main melody strings in the middle, and 2 outside drone strings. Since the model Hurdy Gurdy I had previously put together had just the 1 string, I thought I was so creative including 2 simultaneous melody strings. And then I Googled it. Yeah, let's just say lots and lots of people already came to that same conclusion hundreds of years ago. Humble grumble indeed. But I felt really smart for about 10 minutes, so that was nice. I also updated the crank handle. In version 1, I just made a circular hole and attempted to tighten the nuts around it, but they would inevitably keep slipping after a while. This time I created a hex-shaped hole, and to keep the nuts from eventually becoming loose, I found these tiny little band clamps made for flexible tubing. So far, I'm finding this to work really well. Unfortunately, the clearance on the underside of the box prevents me from using these against the nuts attaching the wheel, so I'm also on the hunt for something similar that's almost completely flat. For the strings themselves, I decided to give viola strings a whirl. After briefly testing it out, I decided that the lower strings sounded the best, so I ended up with a D string, 2 Gs, and a C. However, I definitely want to try out other different types and varieties of strings to see if I can improve the sound even more. Another thing I played around with a bunch is the height of the strings in relation to the wheel. I definitely got comments last time about making sure the strings weren't pressing down too hard, and I could definitely hear and feel a difference when I attempted to correct that. There does seem to be a bit of a sweet spot between string tension and the bridge height, which I still need to spend more time perfecting, but this is the exact reason why I made essentially a bunch of little shims to use under the bridge and the nut. If there's ever a version 3, I might see if I can make those more easily adjustable, but they'll do for now. Pitches. I went through the whole rabbit hole of the rule of 18 and the new square root of a thing, and couldn't figure out how it actually applied to this. So I think I'm just going to try to do it manually. I'm not sure this is ever going to sound perfectly in tune. So this was my partial solution here, is I have this little makeshift cage and I have this makeshift key. And the idea is that I'm going to slip it kind of in here. Let's see if we can do this right. Yeah. And figure out... Oh. like where the pitches are, and then I can print like a little template that attaches to the back of this so that the keys stay in like the correct position. It should be of no surprise to anyone that the keys definitely still need some more work. I think that they were a decent first try, but figuring out the pitches was finagly and imprecise. The fact that the strings are so short is also kind of a problem. The closer the notes to the bridge were, the more likely I'd get some sort of random squeaks like a beginning clarinetist. So I need to look into that. But I soldiered on and they sort of work. I mean, they work if you're not looking to be able to play recognizable melodies, but if you need noise in several different flavors of pitches, then this instrument has got you covered. Well, here we are again at the music couch of blue eyeshadow, and I've got my Humble Grumble version 2, otherwise known as the Humble Grumble Double. And I think I've said all there is to say about this at this point, so I'm just gonna give it a play and let you guys hear what it can do. And now that you know what we're starting with here, I'm going to very quickly, through the magic of computers, try to make this into something musical. Quick, 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 slow. And that's the way it sometimes goes.